They are reddish, like the rising morning sun. Ingredients, which are 5 in all: earth, water, fire, air, and sky. The material energies represented by the banyan tree are all products of his external potency and are therefore kept to his back. And because this particular universe is the smallest of all, the banyan tree is therefore designated as small, or as a child. Tyakta Pipalam indicates that he had now finished his pastimes in this particular small universe. But since the Lord is absolute and eternally blissful, there is no difference between his leaving or accepting something. The Lord was now prepared to leave this particular universe and go into another, just as the sun rises on one particular planet and sets in another simultaneously, but does not change its own situation. End of Srila Prabhupada's purport.
Was prepared? It sounded like you said was not.
I'm sorry?
You said was prepared? I thought you said was not.
The Lord was now prepared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now. So this is Uddhava speaking to Vidura. So as we know, we'll do a little recap here. So Vidura is traveling on pilgrimage. He comes and he finds Uddhava at the bank of the Yamuna? Saraswati, right. Saraswati. And he inquires from Uddhava about the well-being and destiny of the Yadus living over in Dwarka, even though he already knew about the demise of the Yadu dynasty and of Krishna's disappearance. For psychological reasons, he asked those questions. How are Krishna, Balaram, etc., etc.? Uddhava is now disclosing to him the whole story, and he just narrated about the Yadu dynasty, about members of the Yadu dynasty going to Prabhas, having a little fratricidal quarrel in a drunken state and annihilating each other. Now Uddhava is turning to the exact description of he, Uddhava, coming while he was walking around. Uddhava was in Dwarka. He's a resident of Dwarka. He's not a resident of Vrindavan. Krishna was performing his Dwarka Leela, and Krishna understood that now is time for me to leave, which means first the Yadu dynasty has to leave, and he told Uddhava that you might want to leave Dwarka. You might not want to hang around Dwarka much longer because it's going to be really distressful when the Yadus die off and I leave. You know, it's just too much distress for you, my dear devotee, so why don't you go to Badarik Ashram, get some good association there. So Uddhava understood that, yet at the same time, he couldn't bear the thought of just leaving Krishna and going to Badarik Ashram. So he decided to follow Krishna. He followed behind Krishna. So Krishna was traveling, and Krishna left Dwarka, and he went to the bank of the Saraswati, and Uddhava followed behind him, and he found him there under a banyan tree. And that's the description we heard today. And he describes how beautiful the Lord appeared. Now, Uddhava, we might think, oh, he's being disobedient. He didn't just take off for Badarik Ashram. But Krishna made an interesting point to Uddhava, that you should leave because you'll be feeling too much distress. However, what's the greatest distress that a devotee can experience? Separation from Krishna. So he couldn't bear the thought of just leaving right now and separating himself from Krishna. So he followed him and all the way to the Saraswati. And we have to understand the mood of a devotee. A devotee does not, at least we're talking about the pure devotees here, they do not act out of selfish motive. Like many of us, we will make decisions because oh, I don't want to do that because it'll be distressful for me. Or I do want to do that because it'll be blissful for me. We make our judgments based on what's, going to make me happy. Uddhava, he's a resident of Dwarka, but what did Uddhava experience earlier? He was sent by Krishna. Krishna was in Dwarka, Uddhava was in Dwarka. Krishna sent Uddhava. Uddhava is a cousin and a very, very intimate devotee of Krishna. In fact, he looks almost exactly like him. Like you can't tell the difference. Those without discerning eyes can't really tell. Krishna so much appreciates Uddhava that he sent Uddhava to Vrindavan with a message for the gopis and the Brajavasis. He sent Uddhava to Vrindavan so that Uddhava could get a taste, a first-hand witness of the specialty of Vraj Bhakti, which is not found in Dwarka, right? Dwarka is a different mood. Krishna's not a cowherd boy in Dwarka, right? Krishna's a princely character in Dwarka. He manifests 4 arms when he wants to. He's served with love, but mixed with awe and veneration to some degree. So Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan to get a really nice lesson in Vraj Bhakti. So Uddhava went and delivered the message that Krishna sent. But when he went, he saw that the Vrajavasis, they were like totally devastated. Krishna had been gone for a long time. And in that long period of time, the Vrajavasis hadn't even eaten. And they couldn't sleep at night. They were just like the Walking Dead, if you will. And when he came, to deliver a message, the first thing that happened was, as he was arriving, as he got there, the gopis and others thought that was Krishna coming. They were so absorbed in nothing but Krishna that they actually thought this was Krishna that had arrived. Because, like I said, he looks like practically like his twin, And they couldn't do anything but talk about Krishna. So Uddhava got a really wonderful lesson on what it actually means to love Krishna. To love Krishna is to know that you love Krishna. Sometimes we think, oh, I love Krishna. We're kind of sentimental. I love Krishna. But the real test of one's love is how painful the separation is. Our friend will say, oh, Haribol Prabhu, I'm flying to Europe for 6 months. I'll see you in 6 months. We're like, oh, okay, have a great trip, Prabhu. Let's have a little going away party. Jai Haribol, bye. But we're not like losing sleep over it and fasting and, you know what I mean? But real love is shown by how painful the separation is. So when Uddhava went to Vrindavan, he got that lesson. How high their love is. Now, why are the devotees in such pain when Krishna leaves? Didn't I just say previously that they're not selfish like we are? Like when a loved one dies, right? Picture your best loved person in the world. And boom, they just died. How are you going to react? You're going to be like, oh my God, you're going to be freaking out. You're going to be in denial. You're going to be like, woe is me. You're going to be crying and crying. I know a woman who lost her husband like 10 years ago, and she still can't get over it. I mean, she still can't get over it. When you talk to her, she still cries. Because, oh, woe is me. I'm so lonely now. etc., etc. I miss that person, right? The Vrajavasis did not have that psychology. Why were they in so much pain in Krishna's separation? They were in so much pain in Krishna's separation because they thought he would suffer in separation from them. Mother Yashoda's thinking, how will my boy eat? He's totally dependent on me. If I don't feed him and take care of him, oh my gosh, he's just going to wither away. And the cowherd boys are thinking, what? He's not going to be going to the pastures with us and the forests and playing and having a jolly old time all day without us. How is he going to be happy? And the gopis are thinking, nobody can please Krishna like we can please Krishna. This is not ego they're talking from. Krishna is only happy when he sees us. When we smile, our faces become very beautiful when we smile. And when Krishna sees our smiling face, he smiles. And he becomes more beautiful. And because he's become more beautiful, then we smile even more. And then we become more beautiful. And then he sees that increased beauty and he smiles even more. What's he going to do without us? The women of Dwarka won't be able to please him like we do. So the residents of Vrindavan are feeling pain, agony, in separation from Krishna because they understand that he's going to be so-called suffering in their absence. So Uddhava got that lesson. And it was an amazing lesson. So now he goes back to Dwarka, totally edified by this education in Vraj Bhakti. And now Krishna says, oh, hey, Uddhava, I'm about to wind up my pastimes, which involves also winding up your family members, the Yadus. Why don't you go to Bhadrik Ashram and get some real good association there and get yourself absorbed in hearing and chanting. Then you don't have to experience all this distress. And Uddhava's thinking, what? The greatest distress is to be separated from Krishna. And inside, as we heard yesterday, deep down inside, Uddhava actually understood, without it having been spoken by Krishna, Uddhava actually understood that he had some service to do. That there was still something he could do to please Krishna. So instead of choosing to say, yes, sir, and take off for Bhadrik Ashram and not engage in a further service to please Krishna, he decided to follow Krishna. And when he found Krishna at the banyan tree, he's going to hear from Krishna, Krishna's final messages to his devotees. And Uddhava will ultimately edify Vidura to some extent. He'll turn him over, you'll see shortly, to Maitreya, because Maitreya also heard what Krishna was saying, because he also happened to come by when Krishna was speaking. And Uddhava will continue to Bhadrik Ashram and edify the sages there. So this is the heart of a devotee. They don't make their decisions based on selfish concerns of my happiness and my distress, but they make their decisions based on what's actually going to please Krishna. So when there's seemingly contradictory instructions or paths in front of us, do I pick door A or door B to serve Krishna? The devotee, the Dhammi Buddhi Yogam Tam, gets inspiration from within the heart as to what's the best way to please Krishna. So, other points were brought up in today's purport, that the external energy is Krishna's inferior energy, and therefore the Ashwata tree, or the banyan tree, which represents Krishna's eternal material energy, which sometimes manifests in the form of elements and sometimes doesn't manifest, that banyan tree was kept to Krishna's back. Krishna keeps the external energy to his back, and he keeps his internal energy to his front. And it was also explained that the banyan tree was considered a child because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that that language was used to relay the point that the universe that we live in right now is the smallest of all the universes. There's unlimited material universes, and we live in the smallest one, according to Srimad Bhagavatam. We have the story of one time, let's go back to Dwarka. Krishna's there, and he invited Lord Brahma to come visit him in Dwarka. Isn't that an honor? Wow, he just got an invitation to come visit Dwarka and see Lord Krishna. So Brahma gets all excited and he goes to Dwarka. And unlike the pastures of Raj, where you just walk in and say hello to Krishna, you have to go to the palace, and you have to knock on the door, and door servants come, the doorkeepers come, and they have to officially let you in. So Brahma's all excited, and he goes to Dwarka, to Krishna's palace, and he bang bang knocks on the door, and the doorkeepers come. Yes? Hi, Lord Brahma here, I'm here to see Krishna. Okay, just a minute. Close the door. They go to Krishna. Our dear Lord, Brahma is here to see you. Krishna says, maybe you could ask him which Lord Brahma is here to see me. Oh, okay. So they go back out there. Excuse me, Brahma? Krishna says, which Brahma has come to see him? And Brahma just, his jaw drops. What? The Lord Brahma. Me, the father of the 4 Kumars. It's me. And the messenger goes back, oh, it's 4-headed Brahma, the father of the 4 Kumars. Oh yeah, let him in. So Brahma goes in and pays his respects to Krishna, and then he ultimately asks, why did you ask which Brahma? Is there more than one? And then Krishna says, I'll show you. And he had all the Brahmas manifest from all the different universes, and our Lord Brahma was there with his 4 little heads, and all the other Brahmas had tens and hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands of heads. And Lord Brahma became very humble, and he understood, I'm just an insignificant creature. But how honored I am that Krishna asked me to come visit him. So we apparently live in the smallest universe. The number of heads on the Brahma indicate how big the universe is. So one that has 10 heads, he's in charge of a universe that's 2.5 times bigger than ours, because our Brahma has 4 heads. Okay, so we're going to stop there, because I actually have to leave at 8 o'clock. Any quick questions or comments? Christian?
Looking to online in class, Prabhupada has a quote, Prabhupada meditation book, and a little bit long words how Prabhupada was explaining there is an unlimited amount of way you can please Krishna, and please him like that. Just like if we're in the materialist, there's an unlimited amount of kicking that Maya can give you. And the other, we were talking about Corey giving the message. Was that the same one with the pastime of Radharani talking to the bumblebee?
To the bumblebee.
Was that the same situation when?
Yeah. So he sees her talking to the bumblebee, or he hears her talking to the bumblebee. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, so we'll stop there. Grancha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
What you do?
wondered where she went, and I figured you must have brought her to the green.
Amazing.
ಅವನು ಕವಿತೆಯನ್ನು ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ
The cheap one, suddenly I got up from the bed, boom. It's, you know, what to do. But it will go away.
How's your visit to the States? Enjoying it? When I was in high school, I had a teacher that traveled all over, and you're from New Zealand, and he said New Zealand was the most place he'd ever been in.
Yeah.
And I have one auntie that was from New Zealand, she's Russian.
No restaurant this week?
She's born in-
No, I go every day.
Yeah.
Oh, you are going today?
Yeah, but that was an accident.
Oh,
I don't worry, I just like, that somebody went and cleaned it up. So it's
well,
all
that's
good.
good, you didn't have to, disturb your service.
The grandchildren went and cleaned it.
How long have you been working at the house? 2 years. Wow. Have you gone down to see our house?
John, I already started on the stove.
So happy to have you. We had now we're going to do. Are you going? Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, so Ronnie, were you talking about the little plant or the big one, the tall one? And you said water it. That's not my house. No, I haven't. Somebody else has been moving it, taking care of it. Yeah.
They stop.
Yeah,
They don't continue on with anything.
yeah, she has been moving it.
You know,
Okay, all right.
I mean, I used to get it whenever I was at home. She brought me some by
I am, Prabhu. You Matatis, have a nice day. Thank you.
Where's my boy today? I haven't seen him.
Huh?
Where's my boy today? I haven't seen him.
He's on holiday with his family.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. He'll come back.
Yeah, he'll be back.